Hi everyone. Welcome back to Living Wisdom and Dharma World. Today, we're delving into a profound topic, Buddha nature. If we could understand it, then we would be close to being enlightened. Buddha nature, Tathāgatagarbha, is one of the most profound and transformative teachings in Mahayana Buddhism. It is a concept that has the power to reframe our understanding of existence, offering a vision of inherent potential and luminous purity within all beings. It is not merely a philosophical idea, but a transformative insight that calls us to uncover the true nature of our minds. This teaching opens the door to liberation, compassion, and boundless wisdom, providing a foundation for the spiritual journey. The nature of Buddha nature. Buddha nature, or the term Tathāgatagarbha, carries profound meaning. It is derived from two Sanskrit words, Tathāgata, meaning thus gone, or thus come, an epithet for the Buddha, and Garbha, meaning womb, essence, or seed. Together, Tathāgatagarbha is often rendered as the womb of the Buddha, or the essence of the Buddha. This term encapsulates the truth that all sentient beings inherently possess the potential to attain Buddhahood. Buddha nature is not something external or created anew. It is the intrinsic potential for awakening that resides within all sentient beings. It is the intrinsic purity of the mind, which remains luminous and undefiled, even when temporarily obscured by ignorance and karmic defilements. It is like a jewel hidden beneath layers of dirt, or a seed waiting to sprout when the right conditions are met. The realization of Buddha nature is an uncovering, a return to our inherent nature rather than the acquisition of something foreign. This concept serves as a cornerstone of Mahayana Buddhism, reflecting the profound truth that all beings inherently possess the capacity to attain enlightenment. As the Nirvana Sutra asserts, all beings without exception have Buddha nature. At its heart, Buddha nature represents both the promise of liberation and the ultimate nature of reality itself. It is not something to be gained externally, rather, it is an ever-present quality waiting to be realized. This realization leads to the dissolution of suffering and the unfolding of boundless wisdom and compassion. Philosophical meaning and context. The concept of Buddha nature illuminates the non-dual nature of reality. It teaches that samsara, cyclic existence, and nirvana, liberation, are not separate but deeply interwoven. This realization emerges from the understanding of the ultimate truth, that all phenomena are inherently empty of self-nature, sunyata, yet this emptiness is luminous, radiant, and full of infinite potential. Buddha nature reflects the inseparability of form and emptiness, of delusion and awakening. This teaching also skillfully avoids the extremes of nihilism and eternalism. Historically, the development of the Buddha nature doctrine emerged to counteract misunderstandings of Buddhist teachings that leaned towards self-denial or nihilism. Nihilism denies any intrinsic value or potential in existence, while eternalism clings to the idea of a permanent self. Buddha nature walks the middle path, affirming that while beings lack an inherently existing self, they possess the capacity to awaken to their true nature. Buddha nature points to the inherent potential within all beings. By affirming the inherent potential within all beings, Buddha nature serves as a profound encouragement and source of faith for practitioners. The philosophical essence of Buddha nature lies in the understanding that the mind's pure, luminous nature is obscured, not destroyed, by defilements such as greed, hatred, and delusion. In the Lankavatara Sutra, Buddha nature is likened to a jewel hidden within a lotus flower or gold buried in mud, pure and valuable despite its temporary concealment. Origin of the concept. The concept of Buddha nature has its roots in the Buddha's teachings on emptiness, luminosity, and the potential for liberation. While the term Tathāgatagarbha appears explicitly or was fully developed in later Mahayana sutras, its foundation or the teaching of Buddha nature can be traced to the early teachings of the Buddha's own words in the Pali Canon. In the early discourses, the Buddha described the mind as inherently pure but obscured by defilements. For instance, in the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha declared, "Luminous, monks, is this mind, and it is defiled by incoming defilements." Or, "This mind is luminous, but it is defiled by adventitious defilements." This points to the fundamental purity of consciousness, which is temporarily obscured but inherently radiant. This luminous mind, pure and radiant, is a precursor to the Mahayana elaboration of Buddha nature. Over time, the concept was expanded and refined further in the Mahayana scriptures, such as the Tathāgatagarbha Sutra, Srimaladevi Sutra, and Mahaparinirvana Sutra, which proclaim that all sentient beings possess the essence of a Tathāgata, a fully awakened one. These sutras use rich imagery to convey the message of inherent purity and potential, such as a treasure hidden within a poor man's house, or a golden Buddha encased in mud. In the Tathāgatagarbha Sutra, the Buddha used powerful metaphors to illustrate this teaching. He compared Buddha nature to a jewel hidden within a lotus or gold concealed in dirt. These metaphors emphasize that even when obscured by delusions, the essence of enlightenment remains untouched and pure. Similarly, in the Mahaparinirvana Sutra, the Buddha explained that Buddha nature is permanent, blissful, and unchanging, not in the sense of an eternal self, but as the ultimate reality that transcends conceptualization. The Srimaladevi Sutra expands on this teaching by emphasizing the role of faith and devotion in realizing Buddha nature. Queen Srimala declares her unwavering faith in the Tathāgatagarbha, which she describes as the foundation of all spiritual practice. These sutras provide a rich tapestry of teachings that illuminate the depth and breadth of Buddha nature. Stories from Buddhist sutras illustrating Buddha nature. The Hidden Jewel, Tathāgatagarbha Sutra. The Tathāgatagarbha Sutra tells the story of a poor man who unknowingly lives with a priceless jewel sewn into the hem of his robe. Though he wanders in poverty and despair, the jewel is always with him, waiting to be discovered. This symbolizes how sentient beings remain unaware of their Buddha nature, wandering in samsara while carrying the precious potential for enlightenment within. The golden statue covered in mud, Mahaparinirvana Sutra. Another story in the Mahaparinirvana Sutra describes a golden statue buried under layers of dirt and debris. People walk past it, dismissing it as a mere lump of clay, until one day someone clears away the mud and reveals its true radiance. The golden statue represents the Buddha nature hidden within each being, obscured by ignorance, but fully intact and waiting to be uncovered. The Seed and the Tree, Avatamsaka Sutra. The Avatamsaka Sutra uses the metaphor of a seed that contains within it the potential to grow into a mighty tree. Just as a seed requires the right conditions, soil, water, and sunlight to grow, sentient beings need conducive conditions such as virtuous actions, mindfulness, and the guidance of a teacher to realize their Buddha nature. This illustrates the dynamic and interconnected nature of awakening. the fisherman and the jewel, Lotus Sutra. In the Lotus Sutra, there is a parable of a fisherman who casts his net into the sea and retrieves a priceless jewel among the fish. Initially, he is unaware of the jewel's presence, focusing only on his catch. Upon discovering it, he rejoices at his newfound treasure. This story conveys the idea that Buddha nature is often overlooked due to preoccupation with worldly concerns, but once recognized, it becomes a source of immeasurable joy and transformation. The Dirty Child and the Loving Father, Mahaparinirvana Sutra. The Mahaparinirvana Sutra also tells of a child covered in filth whose loving father does not abandon him, but carefully washes away the dirt to reveal his child's purity. The father symbolizes the Buddha, who perceives the inherent purity of all beings, while the dirt represents defilements that obscure their true nature. This story underscores the Buddha's unconditional compassion and faith in the potential of all beings. The Hidden Drum in the Forest, Shurangama Sutra. The Shurangama Sutra narrates the tale of a magnificent drum buried deep in a forest. It produces a resonant and harmonious sound when struck, but for ages it remains hidden and silent under the earth. This symbolizes the dormant Buddha nature within, which, when awakened through diligent practice, resonates with the clarity and profundity. Significance of understanding Buddha nature. Understanding Buddha nature is transformative. Recognizing Buddha nature has profound implications for Buddhist practice. It serves as a source of hope, encouraging practitioners to persevere on the path despite challenges. It reveals that enlightenment is not a distant goal, but an inherent possibility within every being. It empowers individuals to cultivate the qualities that reveal this inner purity: mindfulness, profound compassion, wisdom, ethical conduct, and non-discrimination. If all beings possess Buddha nature, then none are beyond redemption or unworthy of respect. It reveals the shared potential for liberation in all beings. This realization encourages practitioners to cultivate loving kindness and empathy for all. In the words of the Avatamsaka Sutra, when one perceives the Buddha nature in all beings, they see no distinction between self and other, friend and foe. Buddha nature also serves as a source of inspiration and confidence on the spiritual path. It reminds us that no matter how deeply we are mired in suffering and ignorance, our true nature remains untainted. The defilements that obscure the mind are temporary and removable, like clouds that cannot diminish the brilliance of the sun. Additionally, this teaching reframes how we view suffering. Rather than seeing defilements as permanent flaws, we recognize them as conditions that can be transformed. This perspective instills hope and perseverance, empowering practitioners to engage wholeheartedly in the path to liberation. How to realize Buddha nature. The realization of Buddha nature requires effort, discipline, and profound insight. It is a process of uncovering the luminous purity of the mind by removing the obscurations that conceal it. This process begins with the purification of ethical conduct, law, which lays the foundation for meditative concentration, samadhi, and wisdom, prajna. The Buddha emphasized mindfulness and meditation as the primary tools for uncovering the luminous nature of mind. In the Satipatthana Sutta, he said, "This is the direct path for the purification of beings, for the realization of nibbana." The four foundations of mindfulness, which includes mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of feelings, mindfulness of the mind, and mindfulness of phenomena or mental objects. The four foundations of mindfulness are one of the core practices of Buddhist cultivation. They aim to settle the mind through the observation and contemplation of four domains, thereby cultivating a path that generates concentration, samadhi, and wisdom, prajna. Insight into emptiness, sunyata, is essential for realizing Buddha nature. By seeing through the illusions of self and phenomena, we uncover the radiant clarity that is our true nature. Meditation practices such as samatha, calm abiding, and vipassana, insight, stabilize the mind and allow us to penetrate its deeper truths. In addition to mindfulness, cultivating the paramitas, perfections such as generosity, patience, and wisdom, creates the conditions for awakening. Faith and devotion, as exemplified in practices like chanting and prostration, also play a significant role in this journey, aligning the mind with its pure nature. Trust in the teachings, the Buddha, and the potential within oneself creates the conditions for realization. The Tathāgatagarbha Sutra emphasizes the importance of recognizing the jewel within, even when it is buried under layers of delusion. With faith, we can also make vows, or we are able to vow to devote to and achieve whatever challenging practice to reach realization of Buddha nature. Compassion and the generation of the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, are equally crucial. By cultivating altruistic intention, we align ourselves with the ultimate reality of Buddha nature, which is characterized by boundless love and wisdom. Engaging in Mahayana teachings and practices deepens our understanding and brings us closer to realization. The ultimate awakening of Buddha nature. In the final analysis, realizing Buddha nature is not about attaining something new, but about recognizing what has always been present. As the Buddha stated in the Mahaparinirvana Sutra, the Buddha nature is eternal, unchanging, and filled with infinite virtues. This realization dissolves the illusion of separateness, revealing the interconnectedness of all beings and the boundless compassion and wisdom that arise from it. By integrating the teachings, metaphors, and stories of Buddha nature into daily practice, one embarks on a transformative journey toward the ultimate realization of their intrinsic awakening, fulfilling the promise of the Dharma. Buddha nature is not something to be attained, but something to be revealed. It is the luminous purity of the mind that exists within all beings, waiting to be uncovered. By engaging in ethical conduct, meditation, and wisdom, we remove the obscurations that conceal our true nature. This realization leads to profound compassion, boundless wisdom, and ultimate liberation. In Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha explains, when the mind is undefiled, it is free and radiant. The Buddha reveals in Tathāgatagarbha Sutra, just as a treasure hidden beneath a poor man's house may remain undiscovered, so too does Buddha nature remain concealed by ignorance. The Buddha's words in the Mahaparinirvana Sutra capture the essence of this teaching. All sentient beings have Buddha nature. The Tathāgata sees it, but beings do not. The nature of the Tathāgata is not apart from the nature of beings. To see this is to awaken. Thank you for joining me on this journey to explore Buddha nature. By delving into these teachings and applying their profound insights to our daily contemplation and practice, we can awaken to our own Buddha nature and live with greater clarity, wisdom, compassion, and altruism. If you found this video insightful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. Feel free to leave a comment sharing the insights you gained. Your reflections may inspire and enlighten others on their own paths. Wishing you peace, happiness, and well-being.